In order to create an assembly, an entire county or city must be divided into groups of 50 people. These groups are called conferences. Each of these conferences is represented in a central decision-making body called the Assembly. Thus, if you have 5,000 people in the community, you would have 100 conferences. If 10,000 people, 200 conferences, and so forth. Representatives from conferences meet at the Assembly meeting and elect their leadership. Collectively, this leadership is called the Executive Council. The Executive Council is composed of a president and an officer for each category of problems. For instance, there will be an officer for housing, an officer for health, an officer for education, and so forth. These officers will present proposals for action to each assembly to be worked on. The representatives and executive council constitute the decision-making structure. The decision-making structure is created by another structure of organization called the organizing structure. Before describing the organizing structure, we will explain how an assembly is introduced into a given community. To begin an assembly, a field staff goes into a community to identify the natural leaders. These are people who are looked to make decisions. In any given community, they often do not know each other or are not working toward common objectives. These leaders are called together and the idea of the assembly is presented to them. If they should decide against organizing an assembly, the field staff moves to another area. If the leadership decides to create an assembly, they call together persons who are geographically representative of the entire community. This is called a mass meeting. If the mass meeting decides in favor of the assembly, organizing begins at that particular meeting. Those present are grouped by district and organized into district organizing committees. We will now describe the organizing structure in order that you will understand the responsibilities of the district organizing committee. A field staff person does not attempt to organize an entire community by his or herself. It would take much too long. Instead, he or she organizes organizers. The alternative approach would be for the staff to do the job of organizing by his or herself. In a community of 5,000 people, it would mean doing the job of the following: 1 vice general secretary, 5 district organizing committee chairmen, 20 district organizing committee members, 100 temporary representatives, 700 committeemen, 826 people. Would you like to do the job of 826 people? By giving each of these people limited tasks to perform, the community is organized. At the head of the organizing structure is the Vice General Secretary. The Vice General Secretary is a resident of the community and a non-voting member of the Assembly who represents our office in the Assembly. Now, say the community is of 5,000 people and has 5 districts of 1,000 people each. It will then have 5 district organizing committee chairmen. Each district organizing committee would be responsible for forming 20 conferences for a total in the community of 100 conferences. The district organizing committee first selects 1 temporary representative for each conference. It asks that representative to form his or her own conference. We say a conference is formed when the temporary representative has a commitment from each of 7 committeemen that they will be in touch with 6 other persons. Those persons are called members. The names of all 50 persons, the representative, the committeemen, and the conference members are then recorded on a conference form. The last step of organization is the meeting of the conference, which at its initial meeting elects by a secret ballot its permanent representative to the Assembly. The organization of the Assembly is then complete. In the case of larger urban areas, conferences are composed of 50 households instead of 50 persons. Conferences meet periodically to deal with problems common to its members. Community problems are forwarded to the Assembly for resolution. Any group of people living in a community will be confronted with both community and individual problems from time to time. With the creation of the Assembly, It will have an enduring institution that can resolve the problems of that community.